So it's been 1 week now since the big Switch reveal, and my biggest concerns with this console came through pretty much during the whole conference. Of showing games, like I said in the last video, and I'm like, where are the launch games? Where are the launch games? Obviously, there are none, which is very disappointing. I said to friends before this, Nintendo can't rely on Zelda for this console, and sure enough, Nintendo being Nintendo, are relying solely on Zelda. Very, very disappointing. All you've got to do is look at any Switch post on the internet, and people are not happy about the lack of games. And then obviously there's a lot of people moaning about the price as well. That part I can't agree on, but I can't argue with the games. One thing before I get to this video, I want to touch on quickly is I slated ARMS a little bit in my last video. Said I had no interest. And then right after watching the Nintendo Treehouse presentation, they showed quite a hefty amount of arms, and you saw people playing it, and it actually looks like there's quite a lot of depth to arms. There's quite a lot to it. It looks like it's one of those games that you can play at a casual level quite simply, a bit like Wii Boxing, where people just going to punch, 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 punch. But then there's a lot more depth to it and a lot more skill involved. And I think as you get better, you're gonna be able to learn tricks and things. A bit like Rocket League in a way. It looks simple, but it isn't. But anyway, this video is games that I want to see Nintendo bring back for the Switch. So first game that springs to mind is a game we haven't seen since the GameCube days, and that is 1080 Snowboarding. Obviously originated on the N64. The reason I want to see this come back really is the whole kind of snowboard extreme sport genre is pretty dead. Some might say that's for good reason, with Activision overdoing it a tad. But, this game came out before we had the SSX games, and that's not been released for a while. And it's a game that's fresh in people's mind. People still look back at SSX fondly, a bit like they do with the glory days of Need for Speed, with Need for Speed Underground too. But this game, you had the racing, you had the trick attack. There's a nice variety. It's one of those games as well that's got kind of like crossover appeal, with the casual audience as well as kind of the mainstream audience. And at the end of the day, it can't possibly be any worse than Steep was at all. So they're moving on, and this one's a bit of a cheat one, as we did have it on the Wii U, but Nintendo just didn't do Star Fox, Lilac Wars, whatever you want to call it, justice on the Wii U. They included gimmicky controls, and no one really enjoyed the game at all, from my understanding. I didn't actually play it myself, but from what I've read. Whereas you go back to Lilac Wars, or even Star Fox, before that on the SNES, or Star Wing rather, and it's it had everything right. The pacing was right, the shooting was easy, the controls were easy. It's one of those games that a casual could pick up quite easily, and have a good time with. Yeah, at the same time, someone that wants a bit more of a hardcore experience can go for the rings, try and hit the harder levels, get the harder ending. And all in all, it was just a fun shooter. I've played other kind of fighter jet type games, and they're just too fast paced. You just don't have a clue what's going on. So I just think this had the balance correct. So then moving on, the next game I would love to see on the Switch is WarioWare. I've loved WarioWare ever since I first played it on the Game Boy Advance all those years ago. For me, this is it's the perfect game. It's good for a home console, and it's good for a handheld, and it's a perfect party game. I wish they didn't bother with games like 1-2 Switch and just include little fun things, like WarioWare. What I love about it on the handheld side is, you can pick it up, do a quick level for 5 minutes, or if you want to play a bit more, you can. I could sit here and play this game for hours. And if they could include motion controls if they wanted to, well, they're gonna if they do it, that. And plus you can just use standard, normal button presses. That's the good thing about Wario, where it works sort of both ways. And just with all these kind of Nintendo games we've had since then, it'd be great to see them added into the little retro section they have in there. So fingers crossed they bring WarioWare. I am hoping. And then the next game I would love to see come back is Wave Race. We've not had Wave Race since the launch of the GameCube back in 2003. It's been that long. And again, this is just a bit like 1080. It's just one of those genres where there's nothing like it anymore. And I really do think that Nintendo, if they're gonna succeed, they need more of each genre. They need more races. They can't just release one Mario Kart and expect that to satisfy everyone's racing cravings for the next 4 years or however long the Switch lasts, if it even lasts that long. But wave race, especially with the extra power we've got now. Back then, the waves were quite fun, and the physics and stuff like that. And I would spend countless hours of free roam on this game. So I would love to see it come back. And lastly, the last franchise I'd love to see come back is one that I know a lot of fans have been craving for ages, and that is F-Zero. We've not seen F-Zero since the GameCube days. It was quite late on in the GameCube's life. Um, and everyone's got fond memories of this particular version, the F-Zero X on the N64. It's one of those games. It's got a bit like 1080. It's got a good crossover appeal. So the old school Nintendo fans and kids are going to like it. But at the same time, people that played PlayStation when they're younger are going to compare it to Wipeout if maybe they didn't have an N64 at the time. So it's going to bring back sort of nostalgia on that front. And the annoying thing about this game is there is a game coming out on the Switch quite close to launch called RMX, I do believe, which pretty much looks like F-Zero. So why Nintendo haven't done this themselves, I do not know. The other thing that works in F-Zero's favour is the fact that Captain Falcon, he's not gone away. He's been in Smash Brothers the whole time. So people know who Captain Falcon is, which sort of helps as well. So anyway, those are the games that I would love to see come back. I know a lot of people say, "Where's Metroid?" I've never been a Metroid fan, not a huge one. Maybe they can change that if they do another game. But yeah, those are the games that immediately spring to mind that I think Nintendo need to bring back to ensure the Switch does become a success. I hope it will. At the moment, it's sold out for day one, so that is a good sign. Anyway, thanks for watching. Give it a like and subscribe if you enjoyed.